Hey, thanks for watching today. We're excited to take a first look at the Arkansas 2023 tax deed auctions. The lists were just released yesterday, and we're going to take a look at what's available on the Commissioner of State Lands website for Arkansas, as well as take an aerial tour of the auctions on a map, and then dig in and do some deeper researching and learn more about what goes into these auctions. So, to start with, let's talk about how these auctions work. The format is called premium bid. If you've worked in tax auctions before, then you know how this works. It essentially starts the auction bidding with a starting price, and then people bid higher than that until someone reaches the highest bid. Pretty standard for an auction. And when you win one of those tax deeds at auction, it actually comes with a redemption period of 30 days. So that's a very short time for the owner to come back and pay the taxes to redeem. So a lot of people like investing in Arkansas because of the short redemption period. The location is interesting because in Arkansas it is in person, and it varies by auction. Even though a lot of states have moved to online auctions, Arkansas still has in person. And if you don't want to go in person, you can also send sealed bids by mail in advance of the auction. So this is a great time to mention the Commissioner of State Lands is a great statewide resource for tax deeds in Arkansas. This is the place where they publish the listings for the auctions, the dates, the times, the places, and even the property report cards for research. And both annual tax auctions that are held at the county level and the leftover unpurchased tax deeds are both managed by the Commissioner of State Lands. So all of it goes through one clearinghouse for the whole state, which is very convenient. It's a nice consolidated way to do that so you don't get a different process for each county. And their website has great online training resources and videos to help you get started with Arkansas tax deed auctions and all the different nuances and things that may go about in the auction. So I highly recommend, if you're going to get involved in the auctions and go in person, that you take advantage of the COSL website and their resources. So before we dig in too much deeper, I want to talk about the Arkansas tax deed auction season. It's been a bit of a mystery since we started watching in 2019 was our beginning in Arkansas. And we were geared up and ready for an auction season that was announced in January of 2020. And that auction season was promptly canceled by April because of COVID. And a lot of things were put on hold that year, and this is just one of them. So they had no auctions as far as the annual county auctions that year. But then in 2021, they did announce an auction season from July through November, but they were only going to sell the 2020 offerings and not the new 2021 delinquent properties or properties that were going to be tax deeds that year. So it was kind of a selling previous year only, but not current year. And then in 2022, when things were back open and up and running, you have to kind of remember these are in-person auctions, so they were being very careful about putting a lot of people into small confined spaces. So in 2022, they were able to do kind of a double auction season where they were selling all of the 2021s and all the 2022 tax deeds combined into one auction season. And it was a long season. It went March through November. And some counties even had multiple days, multiple auctions to sell all of the tax deeds on their books. Now, they did announce March through November, but as some of the redemptions happened, we watched, and the season shrunk back to a March through September season. So they managed to shrink it a little bit. Now, in 2023, it's an entirely different animal. It's a single year that we're auctioning this year, and the season has been announced. It is July 11th through September 26th, and the property lists are now available for us to take a look at. So on that note, let's move on to the live demo. And where else would we start except for the Commissioner of State Lands website, cosl.org. This is the website I mentioned that has videos and a lot of just great resources for you to learn about Arkansas and what you're doing. And remember, this website is the this Commissioner of State Lands is the single clearinghouse for all the tax deeds, both the annual auctions and the unsold tax deeds. You can click on this public auction catalog and take a look at all of the different counties, their sale dates, the time, the location, And you can even click on the little thing there and see the properties that are going to auction. And furthermore, you can see the property's report card or property details, whatever you want to call it, property card here at, well, got to pop up on this website. And so this will give you one property at a time. You can take a good look at what's the valuations, different things like that, just to get an idea of what's going on with that property. So, you can do all of your bidding and all of the things you want to do from this website, but I want to show you Parcel Fair and how we can save you time in the process. And we'll get to that map tour in a second, but first off, Parcel Fair is this website, parcelfair.com, and we have many states, but Arkansas is here in the list, third state from the top. And you can see we have several things going on here, one of which is an auction calendar. So from this page, you can see laid out month over month all of the different auctions for each county and when those auctions happen, how many properties are in there, and you can click to view the properties on any one county. And what we're going to do with that is it's going to take you to a map like this, which I'm cheating a little bit right now. I'm showing you all counties all at one time in Arkansas. And so you see, we're looking at every county. I'm going to limit down to upcoming auctions only, so we avoid properties that were unsold from previous years. That's a different video for a different day. We're just going to look at the auction properties and not the properties that you can buy year-round. So now that we have our search set, you can see this outline of the state with the county borders included as the kind of the gray lines there. And now we're starting to see properties show up. We've right on top of Little Rock is where I started here. And you can see these yellow boundaries, these yellow outlines. We're just kind of skimming over the properties that would be going to auction at this point. And I always say this in my videos, this is the list of auction properties as we know today, but it will shrink over time as we approach the auction because people are going to pay their taxes. So there will be fewer parcels in the actual auction when it happens. But I'm going to click over in the top left. You see I'm in this map view, so we have good contrast with the property boundaries. I'm going to switch over to satellite view because I want to look at rooftops and see what I'm looking at here. So that's obviously a vacant lot right there. And we can sort of scan or eyeball, give ourselves the little aerial tour and see, oh, we found a rooftop. And so let's click on the details. So we can see just from this that this is a property on about a quarter acre. It has buildings and a total value of $132,000. So opening that up, now we get a lot more information. We have a street view image where we can click on this panorama, take a spin around and look around at the neighborhood. We can check out across the street, the other side, and we can even zoom in and see, the condition of the roof. And of course, this is not real time. This is a few years old, it looks like, from Google. But it gives us a great feel for what the area is like. And if you were to buy this tax deed, what you would be getting. So just real quick, you can see the valuations here. The amount due is going to be the starting bid. And then the assessed value. Land and improvements coming out to a total of $132,000. We can see that it's occupied. That's checking with the U.S. Postal Service to see if someone's checking the mail. And then this purchase option is what I want to focus on next. We're showing you that this is available in an upcoming auction, and it's the Pulaski tax deed auction. If I click on that, now I can see when, where, and essentially the details of the property, the parcel number, starting bid, plus links that all take me back to the different places that we just covered. So I can click the auction list and go back to the COSL website. I can click this link to go get the mail bid that I mentioned, the instructions to mail in a bid, and then information on the tax stuff I want to go register and read about it. So everything, ultimately, when you're doing your research, is going to take you back to the auction website. But at this point, you've gotten a much deeper look at the property. And you can even, if you want to click on some of these links, the Commissioner of State Lands has a page that has basic parcel information. And we also will link you to the Data Scout property card, which is that other system that the Commissioner of State Lands uses. There's the pop-up again. So you can dig in deeper on this property without having to really go very far. We've looked up those links for you. And if you want to save this for later, you can add the favorite. You can put it in a list. I won't cover that too much in this video, but you could add photos if you get photos of the property. All sorts of little things that help you track the property here. Let's go back and take a look at the aerial view though. So the map is one of the favorite places for people to go. Let's click back over to map in this high contrast view. So we saw Little Rock had some properties in it. And in fact, let's see, just south we have Pine Bluff, which has a nice chunk of properties. And you'll see in the downtown area, let's go back to satellite, there's plenty that have structures, there's roofs and things like that. But let's say that I just want to do that search without having to eyeball rooftops. I'm going to click on my search filters and go to buildings and improvements, which will filter down to only properties that contain improvement values and essentially buildings. And now what we're looking at is a smaller result set, but it's very useful because I'm not having to look at vacant lots anymore. I'm seeing things that have property values that show there's a structure on it. So now I'm really saving myself a lot of time. So I can click on a property like that, and if I want to go get a look at on the street, I can take the little yellow Google man and drop him right in front of this house and take a look. Well, that one looks like it burned down recently. It happens. Sometimes the county records still show valuation even though there's not a house there anymore. We'll try again somewhere else. Let's try a house like this one. So we can drop the Google guy here and see the houses in the area. This is the house we're looking for. So right off the bat, you're using Google's street view. Oh, there's people. Wow. And that's the male, it looks like. So ultimately, this is a way for you to get some eyes on the property before you would go out and get photos and take a more recent look. On the right-hand side, you can see there's properties here that we can take a look at and get a preview. Let's pretend I want to see that one. I'll just click Find on Map, and it highlights it here. And then I'm getting a close-up look at the property. So there's just several ways for you to go through the list of properties without having to go through the list of properties. You're just exploring it on a map. I'll click on another one here. And here we go, looking at this one. It's the same property report that you're used to now. And the difference is this is a Jefferson County tax deed auction, which is going to have a different location and different time. So hopefully that helps you get an idea of how you can save time, explore the properties. And let me give you one more search. Let's just back out here to the state level. And let's take a look at, let's look at the opposite end of the spectrum. If I want to look at vacant land, so this is land that has nothing on it, and I want to look at things that have at least 20 acres, I can put 20 in the minimum acreage here. And look, I'm searching across the entire state, across all the auctions, and I'm going to find 76 parcels. And if you remember, I did vacant land, so let's say I don't care. If I want to look at all parcel types, whether there's a house or no house, and 20 acres. Let's do that search again. And now I have 104 parcels. And let's bump it up to 40 acres. Let's just get a little more ambitious with the size of property. So now there are 42 properties with more than 40 acres that we can look at. And frankly, there's some beautiful land here on the edge of the Arkansas River. So that gives me a way to kind of find needle in a haystack if I have a specific strategy for the property I want. Let's say if I don't want to have a structure because maybe I don't live in Arkansas and I'm just trying to buy land, then that's a great way to save me time and look at just that. And if I wanted to just target a single county, I can certainly do that too here in the search filters. And I'm going to clear my other filters and just look at what's in Pulaski, for example. So 538 properties, we're back to Little Rock, just looking at a single county at a time. So that pretty much shows you every way we can search and change and move and just explore the auction in a much quicker way to get to the properties that we want. And honestly, the big time savings are when you weed out the properties that you're not interested in, whether it's the acreage is too small, maybe it's the valuation's too low or too high, but all sorts of combinations that you can use with these searches to do your research, and then essentially collect the information you want to inform you for the auction, so you can have a better chance at getting what you want. So I hope this was helpful, and it was great sharing with you the properties that we've seen so far in the auction season this year. And if you're going to participate, I wish you the best of luck. If you want to try out Parcel Fair, we have a 7-day trial, and it's on our website at parcelfair.com. And reach out to us. We love to talk about this stuff. So give us a call, drop a message in our contact form, and we'll be in touch. Thanks for watching.